Hello to all our dear viewers. Today we have a summary of a new movie called Aiden. Our film starts with a woman who is kidnapped. When the kidnapper opens the car trunk, she continues to struggle in hopes that someone will rescue her. However, the road is empty, and no one can hear her voice. The kidnapper instructs her to remain silent, knowing that no one can save her. She becomes cautious of her kidnapper, noticing a bird tattoo on his arm. He finishes his cigarette, closes the car trunk, and drives away. The story then shifts to 1994, where we see Hyun working with her mother in a shop selling antiques and statues. She leaves the shop to meet her friend, Abby, and asks her about the forged ID card that she requested. Abby hands her the forged ID card, knowing that it will help her get into bars in America. Hyun knows that she is not allowed to go out, as her mother is very strict with her. The situation intensifies when the kidnapper takes her cigarette and demands that she quit smoking, as her mother would punish her for it. He puts his merchandise in the car and gives Yoon a gift ring before leaving. Yoon returns to the shop to continue working. When she finishes, she asks her mother if she can go out, and after some persuasion, her mother agrees, knowing that her neighbor, Nakabi, will accompany her. Later that night, we see Hyun and Abby on their way to the bar. Hyun is very happy, as it is her first time going to a bar since she arrived in America. They sit at the bar, where Hyun notices a person in police attire looking at her. Abby takes her to his table, where she meets him and learns his name is James. Hyun is delighted to meet him. James then asks her to speak on the phone. When he returns, he finds Hyun sitting alone, and they continue talking until late. Hyun gets up to leave and sees her father talking to his friend. James offers to take her home, and Hyun agrees. On the way, James suggests they continue the evening together, but she refuses, knowing that her mother would not allow her to stay out late. Then, James gets out of the car, assuring Hyun that he won't be late, and another car pulls up behind them. Hyun is blinded by the car's headlights. She can't make out the people James is standing with, and she senses danger. She discovers various IDs and badges in the car, including some related to the American police and military, but she doesn't understand why James is using them at this moment. Hyun calculates the risk and decides to escape from the car. As she tries to run, she gets hit on the head and loses consciousness. The next day, she finds herself in a car with Bob, who drives her on the road. They encounter an officer named Phil, who tells Bob that there is a body on his farm. Bob leaves to investigate, and Hyun notices the calendar he was wearing in his pocket. Later, she is treated for the wound on her head, which she sustained from the blow that caused her to lose consciousness. The doctor and her assistants come to help her. They protect her and change her clothes before taking her to a cell-like room. When she wakes up, she finds many girls in the same room, all dressed similarly. Soon, the guards arrive and take them out of the room. The marshal arrives and warns all the girls that the same fate that befell their companion Maria would happen to anyone attempting to escape. It is revealed that Maria was the girl who was killed on Phil's farm, and the marshal Bob was her killer. Assistant Bob is seen with a box of small cats, insisting that everyone takes one and raise it. The purpose behind this remains unknown to the captives. The narrative then shifts to James, who abducted Hyun, revealing his involvement with a trafficking gang. Bob warns her that if she tries to escape, not only will he kill her, but also her family. The following day, Edie is seen standing among the girls, visibly scared. Bob distributes dresses among them, and Edie, along with her friend Kay, is taken to a room where they are restrained and tortured. It is implied that some sort of filming or abuse occurs daily. Edie remains frightened and crying, attempting to calm herself but failing. She witnesses James taking her to a hotel, handling payment with a new client, and leaving her alone with him. Edie tries to escape, but the gang catches her, and Bob, pretending to be a police officer, reprimands her, putting handcuffs on her. Back at their headquarters, they restrain her, continuing to beat and torture her. She becomes accustomed to her situation over time, relying solely on her friend Kay for emotional support. Edie discovers that the ring her father gave her is with one of the clients. It is revealed that all the girls are under 18 except Edie. This information elucidates why the gang is treating her differently, giving her privileges and allowing her to dress and eat as she pleases. They warn her not to engage with the clients at night. Bob instructs Edie to change her clothes and take her to a bar to continue her work. Later, she attempts to escape, but is captured by the gang and severely punished. Despite her attempts to resist, she ultimately surrenders to their control. One day, she finds a note on her bed and a girl braiding her hair, signaling that she must not change her place of rest. Edie confronts her, struggling to take back her ring, leading to a violent altercation. However, the gang intervenes, saving Edie and punishing her for attempting to harm their business. Edie is warned that any further defiance will result in her death, leading her to reluctantly swallow the ring. She then requests to work in the accounts department and not be assigned any other tasks. She had turned 19, and it was known that they only released underage girls. The girl who turned 18 wasn't allowed to leave the headquarters, and Fauj was surprised, reprimanding her, stating that she still looked young. Consequently, she continued to work with her friends during the day. However, at night, Fauj would take Eden and the other girls to parties to continue their work. At the end of the day, Fauj reflected on Eden's words and eventually agreed to let her work in the accounts department. He appointed her as his assistant and instructed her to begin her work immediately. They took her with them to collect payment from a client at a party, leaving Fauj and Hyun to handle the accounts. The rest of the girls fled from the party, and Fauj, unable to locate them, took Ed's help to search for them. Eden knew their plan and decided to inform Fauj of their location, persuading him to let her work with them. Fauj was astonished when he managed to capture the girls with Eden's help and brought them back to their headquarters. In the morning, Eden went to the bathroom, retrieved her ring, cleaned it, and put it on. Fauj gathered all the girls and assigned them tasks. He then took Ed with him to the house to clean it. After completing her task, Fauj took her back to the gang's headquarters and showed her the office where she would work, answering calls and managing clients. Although Eden was initially reluctant to leave her place, Fauj threatened to kill her and took her cat, Eden. Fauj began to explain the intricacies of her new job and how to handle encrypted calls and record customer requests. When asked about the girls' prices, Fauj warned her that all clients were aware of the prices and that if any caller inquired about them, she should end the call immediately, as they could be from the government. Eden then assisted Fauj with the accounts and the transportation of their drugs, becoming an essential member of the gang. Later, they attended a lecture by a candidate who spoke about human trafficking and the widespread existence of large prostitution networks. He claimed to be the leader of the biggest human trafficking gang. After the lecture, Officer Ivan approached Bob, revealing that he was responsible for the case of the murdered officer. When Bob denied any involvement, Ivan confronted him with evidence placing him at the crime scene. They then went to the gang's headquarters, where they found Eden working, answering clients' calls and recording their requests. A government agent called, and Eden realized the caller's identity, refusing to divulge any information to Fauj. The next day, they witnessed Fauj and Eden disposing of the bodies of two girls, and Bob, present on the boat, was then struck on the head and killed. When questioned about his motives, Bob confessed that he had received orders from their leader, as the tube had become a threat to them. From then on, Fauj trusted Eden and relied on her for everything. On another occasion, he took her to visit a member of the gang, where Eden noticed the same tattoo on the man's hand, recognizing him as her abductor. Eden entered the room next to hers, resembling an operating room, and saw her friend Kay, who was pregnant and appeared very happy. When Eden asked her why she was there, Kay explained that she was about to give birth, and that they brought her there to take care of her until she delivered. However, Eden suspected foul play, believing that they brought Kay there to kill her, because she was pregnant. She offered to help her escape, but Kay was skeptical, questioning how Eden ended up there. Eden grew frustrated by Kay's disbelief and left. Faj and Eden watch the news on television reporting Bob's death. Eden realizes that he was the one who killed the officer and takes her to flee. Faj senses Ed's distress and asks her about what happened, learning that she saw the room where the children were being trafficked in the house. She informs him of the ongoing child trafficking, prompting Faj to question Eden's loyalty. He stops the car, asks the girl accompanying them to kill her, testing her loyalty to the gang. The girl takes the gun and points it at the other girl, about to shoot her. Fauj takes the gun back and tells her that he was testing her. Later, we see Jin talking on the phone. The person on the line informs him that the gang's headquarters has been uncovered, urging him to relocate the girls before the authorities arrive. Fauj returns to the gang's headquarters, wakes all the kidnapped girls, and identifies the informant. Fauj finds him in the bathtub, covered in ice, and instructs his assistant to bludgeon him to death with a hammer to prevent him from revealing their location. He loads all the girls into a large truck for transport. Afterward, Fauj takes Eden to his house, where he has a bag with numerous passports. He instructs Eden to take one when asked about their destination, learning that they are heading to Dubai. Fauj enters his house to prepare his belongings, while Eden goes to his drug cabinet, takes the vial he uses for drugs, writes Fauj's name on it, and starts drinking from it. He coughs and dies from the overdose. Once Eden confirms his death, she takes the bag containing the money and passports and carries a drug to remove the tracking device in her leg. She then goes to the room where her friend Kay is being held captive and tries to negotiate her release. However, the person in charge refuses, demanding a larger sum. Eden requests to enter and greet her friend, offering to hand over the money he demands. The person agrees, taking her in to see her friend at that moment. Eden takes out the syringe she has and stabs him in the neck. He faints, and Eden enters to rescue her friend. Kay, who has just given birth, refuses to escape, wanting to stay with her child, as they took her away from her. Eden comforts her and insists that they must escape immediately. They leave in the car, and Eden drops her off between the phones. Eden leaves the car to speak to her mother, telling her that she is still alive. Her mother continues crying, but is relieved that her daughter survived. And that's it. If you enjoyed the movie, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to receive the upcoming summaries. Goodbye.